We're on.
We're on.
Yes.
Let us know if you guys can see us. I'm going to see if I can see us.
I think we're on YouTube.
Oh, page. There we are.
Cool.
Hello, you guys. Welcome. We're starting just a few minutes early just to give people time to jump on.
Let me know if you guys have any problems hearing anything.
Yes, let us know.
Let's just do the overlay while everyone checks in because everyone says where they're from. So you got Cindy, New Hampshire. Well, she's the only one who said it. Oh, Connecticut.
Marcy, Joanne, Noelle, Sydney, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you guys for being here to our special Galentine's Day paint-along. And no, you don't have to be a gal. We're just here as friends hanging out. That's what Galentine's Day is a celebration of friendship. So we're all friends hanging out here. Rebecca, Mark, hello.
Marcy's just here for the pinned comments, and I appreciate that because I've been training all week.
That's right. And as you might be able to tell, I have a little bit of a cold. So sorry about that.
Me too.
But the show must go on.
That's true.
So here we are, and it's going to be fine. And I'm going to try really hard not to cough or get too gunky in front of y'all. Cincinnati, Ohio. Hello. Fargo. Hello, Heather. Hey,
Fargo.
you guys.
Fargo, North Dakota?
That's right.
I've seen that show. That's a good show.
It is.
Houston. That's warm, I assume. I don't know. I don't know anything about the weather anywhere but here. I barely know about the weather here.
Me neither. Me neither. When I go outside sometimes, I guess. Ashley, Melissa, Sue. So good to see your name, Sue. Welcome. Lori, hi. She says she can't stay because she's at work.
I got to say to that, you got to prioritize and quit your job.
What kind of friend? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, I hope you guys have your workbooks, your landscape workbooks ready so we can paint our galaxy forest.
All right, we're going away comments. I'll paint the good ones. You guys don't worry.
And now remember, the way to get a pinned comment is to compliment Michael.
Yeah, you definitely.
Letting you guys in on a little secret. That's how you do it.
All right.
We got Michigan, we got Oregon, we got West Virginia. Hello. Hi, Roseanne. Hi, Janelle. Welcome.
I turned them off. I know it's delayed, but people can't see them anymore. The ones that you're saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
Great. Okay. I'm excited too. We have 1 minute. Whoa, this is perfect because before we start, I just want to remind you guys that I got something pretty exciting coming out soon.
Oh.
This is my new book. It's called Watercolor Your Way. This is an actual copy. Look, sneak peek through.
Love it.
This is still available for pre-order. We no longer are selling them on Let's Make Art, but that's because those are going to be with my signature on those, and we needed to limit the number of those we could sell. So, but you can pre-order this from like any other place like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of that kind of stuff. Pre-orders are super important for authors. So if you have not pre-ordered your copy yet, it's called Watercolor Your Way, and I'm super excited, and it's going to ship early March. So in the next couple of weeks.
We have our first pinned comment. Joanne Fogarty said that I'm looking great today. We're going to go ahead and throw that up there. And thank you. I know, I haven't been on camera yet, but they just know.
They just know. I
So.
can confirm that you are looking great tonight, honey.
You stop that. We're married, by the way. Everyone out there, we're married.
Debbie, so happy to see you. I'm excited about my book too. Blue, blue, blue. It's going to be awesome. We just got a
box of them, of like samples sent to our house, and I touched all of them, you guys. They're real. It's not vaporware. It's actually happening.
So soon. Okay. So we're painting today, and it's going to be great. So we are going to be doing the Galaxy Forest project. So thank you guys so much for taking time to come and paint with me tonight in honor of Valentine's Day. If you cannot stay for the whole live, that's totally okay. This is going to stay up recorded. Okay. So you guys, if you need to leave, that's okay. You can watch it back later, anytime, any of that kind of stuff. I posted pictures to the supplies that we're using, but please know that you can use whatever supplies that you have because we're really just about hanging out here and having a good time. Don't you stress about that. I'm going to pin it and ask you as I pin it. Yes. What about a coffee table book of all of your paintings? Just like a big flip through, large format book. That'd be fun. That would be fun. That would be beautiful. Yeah. I love that idea. Who gave me that? Who gave me that wonderful idea? That is Sarah Annie. And if I say any of your names wrong, I apologize. I'm just guessing here. Sarah, you're a genius. English is my third language. I love it. It's not really. It's my first. Okay. So let's get started. Let's do it. Oh, I thought we were doing the... What are we doing? The oath? Are we oath? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do the oath. If you can raise your right hand. Okay. All right. And repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself. I promise to be kind to myself. I promise not to compare my work. I promise not to compare my work. And I promise to have fun. I promise to have fun. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Let's get started. Let's get started. Oh, what is this? What is this? Oh, that's not supposed to be there. What is this? Sneak peek of a project that we won't be painting yet. Oh, let's there. Listen, you guys, you get special perks for being here. Also, Mandy says if we want to visit Colorado, we can paint the Great Sand Dunes National Park. That sounds awesome. I like that. We're pinning this too. Tammy wants me to autograph her book. So if I find it, I will. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little sneaky, and we're not going to say too much about that. But we are going to be painting our Galaxy Forest. Now, this, as you can see, I took the outline out of the book because I wanted a clean edge. Whenever you want a clean edge on these landscape paintings, it will be easier to take them out of the book and then to take them to a surface because then you'll get that clean edge and then your paper won't warp as much as you're painting. So I already did that. And just as a tip, when you're removing the paper from your book, if you bend the paper along that edge, what is that called? Perforated edge. If you bend it a couple times first, then it should tear out pretty easy. And remember, there is an outline section at the back. So if you want to use your own paper different from what's in the book, you can make this outline over and over again as many times as you want. Okay. And as you can see here too, one thing that I did is I actually darkened my trees. And the reason why I did that is because our trees are just going to be straight black. So we're not going to really see this edge very much. And the one that's pre-printed on the watercolor paper is kind of a light value. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose my tree line while I was painting. So I just took a pencil and drew over it. However, I wish that I would have done a waterproof marker or black pen because I remembered after I did this that graphite will smear while it's wet. So I might get a little gray. Yes. For people who don't have the book and they just want to paint along, what size paper do you have going on? Is that an 8x10? This is an 8x10, but you can use whatever size you have. And so if you don't have the outline, it's no problem at all. You're going to take whatever sheet size paper that you have. You're going to tape the edges, and then we'll do the same exact steps. Your trees are going to just look a little bit different. Sweet. So you should be good. Jewel Woods McDonald, that was for you. That's for you, Jewel. All right, let's keep it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, if you want to take some time to darken your tree line, you can. Another option that you can do, let's say you're painting directly in the paper in the book and you paint your sky and you lose your tree line because it's such a light gray. You let your sky dry and then you take that outline that's in the back and just use your graphite paper to draw that outline again and you'll be good. Sweet. Okay, so I'm just giving you solutions to possible problems you might have. Perfect. Ready? Ready, set. Oh, Jennifer says, "You poor thing, you sound so sick."
Yes.
Yes, I am. And I'm so sorry that you have to hear me.
It was so much worse yesterday that she was so worried that she wasn't going to be able to talk today.
Oh, it was so froggy yesterday. And like literally no sound would come out of my mouth when I moved it. And I was just like, how am I supposed to teach tomorrow? But we're okay. We're here. Just a little congested.
We're doing it.
Okay. So what we are going to do is our very first step is we're going to do a color gradient wash where we're going to start with like a peachy pink along the bottom, move to more of a pink, then a blue, and then do a lot of layers. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. I'm going to take my 1-inch wash brush, but you can use whatever larger brush that you have. I'm going to mix a tiny bit of my golden yellow color with my fuchsia and some water. And when you mix those two colors together, you're going to get this really, really pretty peachy color. Now, remember, the sky is so many different colors. So if you're just like, I don't have that yellow or I don't have that exact pink, that's okay. Allow your painting to be your own and be different than mine. Somebody said throat coat tea. I drank that this morning, actually.
We have a whole drawer full of teas.
Yes.
For tea fiends.
Okay, so now I'm going to take this pink and I'm just going to start along the bottom here.
So scary to just paint over the lines like that. You're a brave person.
Thank you. And I can see that my graphite is smearing a little bit, but that's okay. I knew that's what was going to happen. And sometimes you just got to live with things where it's just like, oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Oh, well. And I'm going to go farther down than you might think because I want to make sure that there are not going to be any white gaps.
I'm going to move your picture-in-picture up. Okay. Over there.
And then we're going to keep going up. I'm going to grab some more fuchsia and just kind of continue that color line. And then now I'm going to grab some azure. Mix that with some fuchsia.
There's a very loud truck outside.
Very loud truck outside.
Someone said to save your voice, you should paint and I should narrate. That's a
Genius.
great idea. Except
let's try it.
I don't know what's going on. All right, ready? And then we're going to add some blue to the top to give the illusion of the nitrogen excitement in the atmosphere as the sun sets. Okay, and you got to go quick so that your brush hand stays active and blood flow. Am I doing all right?
You're doing great, actually.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay, that's step one. And we're going to immediately move on to step two, which is we're going to make this night. So what I'm going to do is you can use your round 12 or your 1-inch wash. I'm going to grab some azure and some black, and I'm going to mix those two together. So I'm trying to make a really nice dark blue here.
And I'm such a fan of that color too.
And then while it's wet, swoop that baby in. And you can do multiple layers here. Now, if you're adding this and the color is looking to daytime instead of nighttime, you need a bit more black. Okay, at this point, I'm going to grab some water. Let's grab some more fuchsia and dark blue.
You guys, I'm the biggest sucker for this whole color palette. Like deep blues and purples are my favorite colors.
This is true. This is his favorite color combination. Okay, and you'll notice that I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom with this color change. And the reason for that is I really want that little hint of pink glow along the bottom of my trees. So I'm going to rinse my brush just about all of the way so it's just a clean brush and just kind of smooth out this transition a little bit. So we do get some pinks, we do get some purples, but we still get this peachy highlight along the bottom.
I guess we could zoom in a bit, huh? Wow.
And then what we can do too is we can do some kind of swoop action too. So I'm going to use my round 12 and still kind of using this dark blue, just kind of start to swoop in. So before I was really going for a smooth transition and wash, but the nice thing about a night sky is there's actually like galaxy colors in there too. So I'm going to take some of my fuchsia and just kind of drop it in the middle here.
Dang.
And then swoop around some more too. So we're kind of like activating things, getting some in and out colors. And then I'm just going to kind of see how my color transition is going. I feel like it needs maybe a little bit darker color here.
So this is kind of a sidetrack, but I think it's a good question. Let me put it up. If you wanted to add some form of aurora to this, would you do it first? Because it's kind of a bright green.
So if you were to do green, so basically whenever I'm adding fuchsia, you would add green. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going to have you lift some color out while it's wet too. Michael, what is it called when there's like these lighter areas? Like, why do we see in the sky sometime lighter areas?
Like when you're talking about, like in the summertime when you're seeing that cloudy texture in the sky?
Yeah, or like just like the galaxy, you'll see like this light.
You're looking at like the arms of the Milky Way when you see that in the sky. And so it's actually sunken and raised parts of a giant cloud.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but inside of that cloud are billions and billions of tiny stars, each with probably their own planets. So you're seeing actually a physical cloud in the sky, and you see different textures on it because that's what it is.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to smooth this out, and then I'm going to go back to that question. So when I did this transition, you can see that I had this line here. You can leave that, or yellow got on my brush somehow. That's okay.
It's a feature, not a bug.
And I'll just kind of blend it out of it.
Listen, I'm pinning all of you that keep saying that I'm awesome, so I'm just going to...
I'm going to do another little swoop of peach down here. Okay, so if you wanted to do this green instead, what I would probably do is I would probably eliminate the peachy part, because when you get the pinks and the greens mixed, you would get like a brown. So I would go for a full dark blue night sky and then throw in strong green in the middle. And you can do wet on wet just like we did. And if you either want to lift out color or drop it in, but yeah, you would do green and then the sky wash and then more green if that's what you wanted to do.
Super cool.
And I'm going to actually get some fresh fuchsia, do one more wash along there to get that nice peachy color. And then we're going to flick some stars.
Hi, Shannon. She's late, but said hi.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of fuchsia and a little bit of that golden color, golden yellow, and some water. Get a nice peach.
Amy's asking, are the trees pink to go between the trees? I think she's saying like, yeah, so you don't have gaps behind the branches.
Yeah, because the sky is independent from the tree line, right? So we need to make sure our sky continues even if the trees weren't there.
I won't keep asking, Sarah. This is the last one. But just for the latecomers, can you quick recap the colors we're using?
Oh, yes. Azure blue, black, golden yellow, fuchsia, and bleed-proof white. Okay, now our paper is still damp. And we're going to do some star splatters while it's still damp, just some. And the benefit of doing that is when you do the star splatters while your paper is still wet, they'll diffuse and soften. And then at the very end, we'll do more splatters. So we will get depth within our stars by doing it this way. So I always like to dip my brush in my bleed-proof white. And then I do a couple test splatters on my tray. And then I'm going to throw them in. Now, depending on how wet your paper is, They'll either immediately soften. Some might soften right away, some might not. I have some areas that are more dry than others, but that's okay. We're really just starting to put in our stars, just a few little goes. Okay. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we dry.
Bleed-proof white is the best. It's quickly become a favorite.
Bleed-proof white. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't even view bleed-proof white as like a paint color. It's just something that I always have with me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's like as necessary to me as watercolor paper. Like I just always have it. I love it so much.
It's funny, people can probably hear this drawing tool. I usually edit out the sound of it on regular tutorials. No one's mentioned anything. I'm just thinking out loud. Now you guys know what it sounds like.
You edit out the sound during tutorials?
It comes with editing the trucks out and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that power when we do it live because like I can't edit things.
Yeah.
But when it's edited, it's gone.
You guys, it's 7:16 and it's just like we only have to put in the trees next. That's it.
How wet was your brush when you dipped it into the bleed-proof white? Or was it?
It was. That's a great question. So let me give you guys, we're going to let that air dry for a second and I'm going to show you how I like to pick up paint to flick the white. Okay?
Okay.
So here's the scratch paper.
Back.
So the size of your brush will determine the size of your speckles when you flick paint. So for me, I was okay with some of the sizes being a little bit larger, so I went for my round 12. I usually use a round 6, and I very rarely use a round 2. And the reason why I wouldn't use a round 2 to flick paint is because this is such a small, this could only hold very little paint that my splatters would be like non-existent.
It's a small well.
It's a small well. So then when I go to pick up the white paint, I get my brush wet. I'll move my cup of water here. Get my brush wet and then hit it off the side of the cup. So it's damp, but it's not dripping. If you were to take a dripping brush into the bleed-proof white, then if you went to go do that, then your flecks would probably be huge. So the more wet your brush is, the bigger your speckles are going to be, as well as the size of your brush. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. The hard thing too, though, is if your brush is too wet, not only will your speckles be big, but they won't stay opaque because they'll be watery.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do it with another color.
Let me try it on the up close cam too. Tell me when you're ready.
Well, it's white paper on a white.
Yeah.
Should I do the color now?
Yeah.
Okay. So after I pick up the color, whether it's the paint I'm using or bleed-proof white, I want it wet and dripping. And then I like to do a test splatter because that will tell me the size of my dots. So I just hit it off the thing as you go around. And then you can try and, the harder you hit your brush to your thing, the stronger your splatter will be. So I usually do a soft hit. But if it's not like going out or if it's getting near the end of the like moisture for the brush, that's when I'll be like, watcha.
Here's a good question. Someone asked, they have some white gouache. Would that achieve a similar effect?
White gouache, white acrylic paint, water it down a little bit, but that'll be the same. Essentially, bleed-proof white is white gouache, but it's way concentrated white gouache.
Gotcha. Cool.
That's why it's so opaque. That's why it's called bleed-proof white. And gouache is considered a watercolor.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
And speed round it. Go quick.
Okay.
How do you pick up inspiration to paint?
How do I pick up inspiration to paint?
Yeah, Uruj, Jay, this is for you. What's your inspiration to paint?
I feel like inspiration is not something that just finds you. Like, how do I say this? Inspiration is everywhere. Inspiration is a bottomless well. Inspiration is everything. As in, like, I have found that I have to incorporate daily habits or remove unhealthy habits in order for me to always feel inspired to paint. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
But it's not like one of those things where, like, I only paint when I'm inspired. It's more like also painting is my job. So I show up to my job every day and I work, and sometimes I'm really feeling it and sometimes I'm not really feeling it, but I still got to paint and the paintings still turn out great. So, like, it's kind of just like continuing to show up and implementing healthy habits that make it easy to access your creativity.
That was premium.
Okay, good.
All right. You ready to continue?
I think we are ready to continue.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So as you can see, I have my white, and some over here, I can tell on the right-hand side, my paper was more wet. See how that softened? That's good. That's what we want, because then when we do our bleed-proof white splatter at the very end, those will be crisp and bright, and then we'll have that difference in value, and that's going to give our sky a feeling of depth. Okay?
Love it.
Now what we get to do is we get to fill in the trees. So if you guys have the outline, basically what you will be doing is you'll just be taking straight black and painting in your trees. If you do not have this outline and you're kind of just eyeballing it, then what you're going to want to do is along the bottom, I made it so my trees curved in. And that was to give a sense of fullness. You could do your tree straight up across. That is just going to give your painting a feeling of static, like still, and maybe a little bit more flat. I wanted it to feel big and grand, almost like when you're looking up above and you see the trees like curve in towards you. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was trying to create. So when you do that, to do that, you're basically just going to start by putting in trunks like so, and just have them kind of face towards the middle. So this is if I did not have the outline. Okay. And your brain is going to want all of these trees to be the same distance and height. Don't fall for that. That's not how trees really grow a lot, right? They kind of come in all at different angles and times and everything like that. So I put in my tree trunks. When you get to the bottom, you're going to be using the side of your brush to put in these bristles, to put in the branches.
Needles. Oh.
The what?
Needles?
Yeah, needles.
These are conifer trees or gymnosperms, and they have needles instead of leaves.
And if you want to start doing little branches kind of coming off of them, that's fine. But a good trick for your trees is that in the center or like in the area where it's very thick, you can use a larger brush. And then when you get to the very top of your tree and the edges of your tree, that's where you're going to use a smaller brush and you're going to do dashes. Because think about the density of trees, right? Like, when there's a lot going on and overlapping, there's not a lot that we get to see through. But around the edges and the perimeter, that's where we kind of start to see the individual needles or shapes.
The pointy bits.
The pointy bits.
People really like your palette. It's art in itself. And I agree.
Ooh, that does. It kind of looks like an alcohol ink.
Yeah, it does.
So I like to use my round 6. If you're following with the outline, you can use your round 6 or your 12 for these areas. And then I like to keep my smaller brush handy, so then when I get to the tips of the trees, I can just switch brushes and do kind of more detail. This actually, you know, one of the first paintings I taught with Let's Make Art was a galaxy inside of a circle with little trees. Mm-hmm. And this is a very similar color palette. I didn't use salt this time though. that would have been fun to do, but.
It's funny. I get reminders of our old projects and old lives. It's interesting to see the progress you have made as an artist, even, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, gosh, it's been 6 years of painting a tutorial with you guys every single week.
Right.
6 years. And so, like, I'm improving. Like, that's practice for me. That's learning for me. That's trying new things for me. Excuse me just one second.
Okay. Water break. People love the galaxy paintings you do.
Sorry, my cough.
John Collins says that your palette paint looks like a mermaid to him.
Oh, yes. Good mermaid colors. Now, if you do not have the outline and you're kind of just like going for it, first of all, don't stress. Trees are wonky. We want to make really pretty, perfect trees, but like, have you gone out and looked at trees? Because they're weird.
Right.
They're very weird, so don't stress. And the biggest thing to remember is that they're an overall triangle shape. So at the top, you want it to be more narrow to a point, and then as you go out, it widens.
Two things. Could you use your cut up foliage brush for this? Would that work?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And two, these are quick fire ones. Okay. Someone asked how to keep your paper from puckering. We talked about that in the beginning, but taping it down is a good one.
Yeah. So a lot of traditional watercolorists will stretch their paper. That means they will wet the front and back for about 10 minutes, like soak it in water for about 10 minutes. And then they tape it to a surface and let it dry. And then they paint on it. I do not do that.
Too much effort? Like too much time?
It's just a lot. I don't know. So I just tape my paper down before I paint on it. And that will, like, it will warp a little bit, but for the most part, it keeps it flat enough that I can still do what I need to do. And I've tried stretching my paper and it still warped. No. What it was I used, sometimes you can buy block paper, which is paper that is pre-stretched and glued down on a pad. That's a lie. Just
it's not good.
Don't believe. I mean, I like the block that it's glued down because then I don't have to use tape, but it will absolutely still warp while it's very wet. So
how about washing the back of your paper with just water? Would that work? Like pre-washing with water on the back?
You would have to do both sides.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, because what you're doing when you stretch the paper is you're removing the starch.
Oh, okay.
And so if you only stretch the back of it, then it will still curl because it would be uneven.
Got you.
That makes sense. Okay. And here we go. Still going on. Now in the bottom center here, I have much smaller, narrower trees. So I'm just using my round 2 for that.
While you're painting, have you ever had problems with your heat tool and your edge tape? Does it make the tape come off or anything? Have you experienced that?
Not with this tape, no. I'm using, well, if I use the heat tool a lot, then the tape will curl where the heat hit it a lot, but then I just re-tape it before I paint again.
Okay. Great comments, everybody. Listen, make my job easy.
I feel so sorry that my throat is so tickly.
Listen, I forgive you.
Thank you. And you can always like go off script from the outline. Let's say you have that outline, you're going for it, you can't see it very well, or you kind of got lost, all of that kind of stuff. That's okay. Add a tree. Take away a tree. You know what I mean? Like, this is your painting and you have complete control and freedom. Look at that. That's looking good.
Laura Chang loves your book.
Oh, thank you.
I do too. Listen, I'm a huge fan.
Okay. Now, this is where it gets very, very dark. So see this like bottom right corner?
Mhm.
Like essentially that whole thing is black, right? So you can even switch to a larger brush than a 6 if you want.
Laura's first half of her message about the book was that you're amazing. And now she's saying, make sure to tell you that part too. So you're amazing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Make sure you pin that comment.
I did.
Okay, good.
There it is. It's pinned.
Now, when I get to the center here where these trees kind of meet up, I'm going to do kind of a dot technique here and let there be little gaps. You see how I'm letting some light through? Because that would be true for trees also. We would see some light through. Right. We don't want the gaps to be huge. If they're too huge, then it would be like, what happened to the side of that tree? Which also totally happens in nature. So like, you wouldn't be wrong. And you might be asking, well, how do I know if it's too big or too small? You can go bigger, fill in the rest of the tree, and if the gaps are looking distracting, like you can't tell that they're gaps and they kind of look like polka dots, then you can go back in and thin them out.
Someone's asking about painting on an angled surface. What is the name of that tool you use?
Oh my goodness, let me tell you. It's called Luden Artboard.
Luden, L-U-D-E-N?
Yes, and he is the sweetest guy. His name is Dennis. He makes them all by hand. He's so talented. He's on Etsy. And I originally got my Luden board because I was having severe neck pain because I was doing this all the time. Yeah. And I couldn't paint. And it was just like, that's my job. So it was making it very difficult. So I needed something that could sit up. So the Luden Artboard is adjustable. So it can lay totally flat, or you can adjust it at any angle pretty much that you want. And you might say, but it's watercolor. How is that possible? Well, really, it's only super wet the first layer of watercolor. Right. So, and even then, like if we were at a slight angle when I was doing the sky, that would actually be fine because that color would like blend down into the ground anyway. So that's okay. Yeah. So then after you do your initial like really loose wash, then you can, and it's dried, you can stand it up, and all of this detail work I would be able to do up, which is way better for your posture. Was that even the question? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was, can you paint at an angle? And then I just thought to tell them about this thing because I know you love it and it really has helped your neck pain.
It does. So if you guys struggle with like neck pain, that might be something you want to look into.
Once again, it's L-U-D-E-N.
Luden.
Okay. I just typed it and I want to make sure I spelled it right.
Yeah, Luden Artboard. It's on Etsy. He does drops every so often if it's sold out. So, but yeah, or you can just there's like different reclining ones. That's just the one that I have. I don't really know personally of any other ones, but yeah, you can totally paint at an angle.
Oh, Hadley linked it. Thank you, Hadley.
Hadley.
Hads, you're just
everyone say nice things to Hadley. She's just the greatest. She's like on top of everything.
Oh, the artboard's sold out. Listen, he hand makes them. He is just a guy making these things. They'll come up.
Yeah, if you follow him on his social, he'll let you know when new ones are dropping, that kind of thing.
Hey, Sarah Lorraine Cray.
Yeah.
Can you use Daniel Smith watercolors on the workbook watercolor paper? Will it work fine?
It will work fine. Daniel Smith does better. Yeah, yes, it will work fine. It will work fine. I like to use my Daniel Smith on 100% cotton paper. Like this is more like a cellulose paper.
Got you.
Which means that the liquid watercolors tend to work a little bit better with it than tube watercolors. However, give it a go.
You do you.
You do you.
Joanne Fogarty, who's been pinned already tonight, just commented that Hadley is looking really great tonight. Joanne,
Hadley, you are looking really great.
Joanne, enjoy your second pin of the night.
Joanne, you're killing it.
Everyone stormed Luden's Etsy site.
Good. I hope so.
He writes like a Christmas card to us.
He
He's the
sends
sweetest
me a
guy.
Christmas card to say thank you. Like, I bought the board 2 years ago, or like 4, I don't know, 2 to 4 years ago. He's just very sweet. Okay. And now on my right-hand side here, I can see that I lost my outline a little bit, even though I did it dark. So I'm just kind of going for it. Like, I don't know. Sure. This is a tree. And there's different types of trees too, right? So we have Michael, help me out here. We have the ones that are like triangle shaped.
You're talking about coniferous trees or gymnosperms?
Yes.
Cone-bearing trees?
Yes. What are other types of trees?
Those would be the angiosperms. Those are called flower-bearing trees. And so anything that you probably think of that makes any kind of fruit or nut is a angiosperm. So you got your walnuts, any fruit tree, your oaks, those are all angiosperms.
Okay, so think of all the different trees that you know, and they can grow next to each other, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So then they can be next to each other. And
they're fierce competitors, actually.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, trees just want their own space and their own light.
Mm-hmm.
So they compete for it. Who can grow the quickest, who can make the most seeds, etc.
Okay. Aren't they all connected underneath and they like help each other?
Oh, are you talking about mycorrhizal networks?
Yes.
Well, yes, they are, Sarah. And that's not every case. But in a lot of cases, these like nursery leader funguses will grow little fingers into all the roots of all the trees in a forest, and they manage resources between these trees. I studied some in college on oaks in the Sacramento River Valley, mycorrhizal fungus networks, and they are mind-blowing. If a tree knows that it's sick and is going to die, it will sap its nutrients into this network and give it to other trees and go like, you can use this.
Aww,
I'm going to die.
That's so sweet. So cool. Trees are amazing.
I was not homeschooled. I am a product of the public school system and grandparents who really wanted me to do well. Okay. Well, how do my trees are looking good. I'm going to maybe fill in just a couple of these gaps. Not a lot, because I actually think they turned out really well. And just so you know, even with colors like black, like you might have some areas that are lighter or darker than others. If you want to keep layering it so it's a nice flat, like really dark, solid black, you can. Sometimes I don't really mind if the values are slightly different from one another. Like you might be able to see that initial trunk line that I put down on these. Right.
If that bothers you, you can just do another layer on top. Or just leave it. It's not a huge deal.
People love it. People love your painting.
Thank you. Well, you guys, pin everybody. Pin all those comments.
I am. Oh, they are.
Good. Okay.
People also like the bouquet that you posted on.
Oh.
On whatever today.
Well,
Instagram.
Michael got that for me. It was so cute because like, what was it? A couple weeks ago, we're going to let this dry. A couple weeks ago, Michael was just like, Sarah, what are your favorite types of flowers? And I'm like, what? Why? And he's just like, I just was curious if I knew. And I'm like, oh, I love ranunculus. I love butterfly ranunculus. I just started like naming some. He was like, oh, okay. And then today he stops by my work with this gorgeous bouquet. And he went to the local flower shop and he told them all my favorite flowers, and they ordered special flowers. And not only did he make me a bouquet of my favorite flowers, but he also got little ones for our son and our 2 daughters. And our youngest son, Arlo, has his own little bouquet. And
he's 3.
He's 3, and he loved it so much that he was carrying it around and watching a movie with it.
And baby talking it.
So cute.
Yeah, he really likes those flowers. The girls were like, oh, cool, thanks.
Well, our oldest, Ella, who is 12, was very much like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Luna, who is a little bit more of our wild child, was a little bit like, thank you. Like,
thanks.
Flowers, great. She's like, where's the candy? And Arlo, the biggest fan, but they're so beautiful, and you did a great job, honey.
On a total side note, Will Lockwood said that there's a book called The Mother Tree by Suzanne Simard. She is the one that first discovered the mycorrhizal networks. That is baffling. I don't even know how you would go about discovering something like that. Will Lockwood, heck yeah, man.
You gotta read that book, honey.
I will. People said I'm a keeper, just in case you're curious, Sarah.
Oh, I know.
No, thanks. Thanks.
I know he is. Okay. So our very last thing that we are going to do is we're going to splatter some bright white paint for our stars. Pause. Can we talk about how great this like lifted up section in the sky turned?
Showing that. I am so sorry. I'm slacking. There
we go. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Isn't that great?
Yep, love it.
I love that little hint of warmth right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you can take paper towel, scratch paper, whatever. I'm going to block off my trees before I flick this white paint. And the reason for that is because the trees are in front of the stars. So we wouldn't have white stars on top of our trees. So we got to cover them up.
Okay, while you're doing this, I got a question for you from the audience.
Okay.
How many times do you think you paint a tutorial project before you teach it?
It depends. That's really
1 to 10.
1 to 10 times is correct. There are some paintings that I just nail the first time. I'm like, yeah, like this is so good. And then there are other ones where it takes me a few times. Like if you guys painted the November box, the Let It Be box, the Let Go portrait, I probably painted that about 5 times till I felt like I got it right. So it really depends. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. Some I just hit, some I don't. Some it takes me a minute. Sometimes I don't feel like I hit, but I think that's good enough. And I teach it anyway because that's also what I'm trying to instill within you guys is paintings don't have to be perfect every single time. Was it enjoyable? Was it a new technique? Did you learn something? I mean, I could drive myself crazy painting projects over and over again until it was perfect, but I don't want to perpetuate. I don't want to perpetuate that idea. If a painting I think is good enough, then it's good enough. And I roll with it because I don't want to set you guys up for failure by saying, oh, of course you can do this. Let's just paint. You can just do this once and it will be perfect. But I'm not going to tell you that I've done this 50 times. Like, I don't want that. So it depends on the painting. As long as I feel confident enough that I can teach it, it's good.
Love it.
That's
perfect.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to pin this too because your mom chimed in that she would like everyone to like the video. And listen, I agree because that would help us a lot. So go for it. Like the video.
Oh, yeah. My mom is so cute. She watches my kids for me while we're doing this live. And we went home last week. She's like, Sarah, you have to tell people to like the video. It's how the algorithms work. I was like, thank you, Mom. Okay. So please like this video.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. We ready? We go back in?
Yes. Okay. Last step. We're flicking bright white paint. You can use your round 6 or your round 12. Remember, your brush is damp. If you want to do a test flick first to make sure it's not too thick. And if you're feeling really edgy, I like to do a big one and then a smaller one because then you'll get different sized flicks the same way that you get different size stars in the sky. So I have my 6 now. These are going to be much finer. Do you know what this reminds me of?
What?
The Parent Trap.
The mountain lions?
Yes.
There's no mountain lions here.
Do you guys know? Hit that like button if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Okay. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll do some like intentional stars. And you can use your round 6 or your round 12 for that, whatever you feel good doing. But you would just take some bleed proof white right on your brush and you can just, wherever it kind of feels a little bit bare. And if you're feeling super edgy, you can do a shooting star.
All right, speed round of questions. You ready?
Yep.
Did the workbook come with paints, like a package? Maybe.
Not this time,
okay.
no. So the workbook is just a standalone workbook. We're having a hard time getting the newer colors in and all of that kind of stuff. But the nice thing about the workbook is I designed it so you can, even though I give you a suggested supply list, you can use whatever you have. And with the outlines included in the back, you really can use whatever you have. You don't have to just use this paper and this outline one time over and over again using your own supplies.
You mentioned the color sea salt in your book.
Yes.
Any suggestions of colors to maybe make something kind of similar to sea salt?
You would want to do like sea blue, a little bit of yellow, and some black, and a lot of water, because you're going for a desaturated bluish green color.
Love it.
And somebody on the Facebook said, how do you do a shooting star? So all I did, Michael, if you want to go back to the overhead.
Yes, ma'am.
Is I'll do another one right here.
Go even closer. There we go.
I'm going to do a little dot, wipe off my brush, and then while it's still wet, just take a smear.
You forgot such an important part, though. You have to go when you do it. There it is.
That made it so much better.
Listen, you think I'm kidding. The sound effects are what make it.
That was awesome.
Oh.
Okay. Any other questions? Because my painting is looking good.
They really loved all of it. No, I mean, they're obviously huge fans of me.
Obviously.
No, I think we had a good crew here tonight. I think things are going well.
I'm kind of, now that my paint is, and just so you guys know, your painting is going to lighten as it dries. So if it looked really good and then you're seeing that it's dries and then some areas are like turning gray or something like that, that is normal to watercolor. So if that happens, you can always do more layers. Okay, so don't stress. Okay, Debbie says, when is the next one? Should we do another live paint along, you guys?
I don't know if you can afford my camera services.
No, I definitely can't. I know that. Okay. Let's do another one next week.
Let's do it.
Does that sound good?
I mean, I think so.
I think so too. I will post all the info, date and time, and we'll also do another vote of what projects to paint. How does that sound?
That sounds great. It's going to be a self-portrait of me.
Yes.
Or I don't know what the other one will be.
What you guys don't know is that in college, Michael was a model for an art class.
For a sculpture class, and I had to wear a Speedo.
For a sculpture class, he had to wear a Speedo. And he said he would walk into the classroom and there was just like a miniature army of him.
Just these beautiful sculptures of my exact body.
In a Speedo.
The teacher was this old Tongan man with no boundaries, and he would just like slap my butt. He'd be like, "This, you have to sculpt this way." And it was.
I think that's called assault, dear. I
don't know.
I don't know about this.
The army of me made up for it, and that was a different time.
Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. I will post all the details, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much for being here and painting with me and your patience while I have this very stuffed up throat and my cough and all that stuff. So you guys are really amazing for that. And if you are not part of the Watercolor Facebook group, please join it. That's where we will do our vote of what project we will paint next week. We know that it has been kind of confusing and hard about what's been going on with Let's Make Art and what are we doing next and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm just here to let you know that it's good things coming and it's going to be okay. And I'm not going anywhere. And so I'm really excited to keep on painting with you guys and to grow with you. And I think that's all I got to say. And please like this video because my mom is going to tell me to tell you again. So like this video.
For the algorithm.
For the algorithm. And thank you for being here. join that Let's Make Art a Watercolor Facebook group for the info on our next live. Hadley, I'm sure, will also post it because she's the best. Thank you, Hadley. And we'll see you guys next time. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye.